This video is rated T or Tickle Me Pink. Are you guys having a hard time managing your stash, deciding what to sell, who to sell it to, what to keep for quests, and wondering maybe what cases you can purchase to help you? Well, my name is Tickle Me Pink. I'm level 50. I have 9,000 hours in Escape from Tarkov. I'm scared to go outside, and I'm going to give you guys all the information I have to clean up your stash and make the leveling process as painless as possible. If I could just ask you guys to please smash the dislike button and tell me to kill myself in the comments down below, that would make my day. Let's hop into this video. So first and foremost, we're going to want to auto sort our stash. You can find this in the bottom right of your menu, and this might seem like a no shit Sherlock moment, but trust me, just press the button and we're going to continue forward and organize that stash. If your stash is so full that the auto sort will not work, just go ahead, slot on your biggest backpack that's in your stash, put some weapons on there in your stash, or put some big items in your backpack. That way it has like a little bit of wiggle room to actually auto sort, and then you can redeploy those items. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and stack all of our backpacks. It means like all of our scav backpacks, all of our burr cuts, etc. Stack those babies up. If you have mechanism backpacks, I would strongly suggest you just run them, as you can't really stack them. They take up a lot of space in your stash. I know they're great backpacks, but just a philosophy with this game, you're honestly going to get rewarded by using your best gear all the time. So go ahead, run it. If you're nervous to run it solo, I understand. You can join my Discord. It'll be linked in the description down below, and I'll personally play with you, help you guys do your quests, help you guys make some money. And there's a ton of other people in that Discord that'll also help you do the same, and they'll have your back so you can ensure that mechanism backpack, die with it, and get it back to use it another day. So make sure you go ahead and stack those bags. Now, if you have bags that, let's say, you're not going to use, like things under a burr cut, under a 5x4, under an MBSS, under a 4x4 slot, just go ahead and sell those. You can stack infinite backpacks, sure, but are you really going to dig down to the bottom of an endless pit of 80 backpacks to grab a tea bag? Probably not. The next thing you're going to want to make sure you do is go ahead and go through all the weapons you have now that they're auto sorted, and remove the magazine and the pistol grip. Once you've made this change, almost every single one of the weapons will become only one cell wide as opposed to 2 cells wide. Just make sure that you can buy these pistol grips, or you can buy these magazines before you sell them. You can do this by right clicking and filtering by item, and then if it shows that the trader has this item and you can purchase it and it's not grayed out, then you're good to just sell those and save yourself some more space. Just rebuy your pistol grip, rebuy a magazine when you want to run this weapon later, and you're going to have way more space. The next thing I want you guys to go ahead and tackle is just sell weapons and gear that you're truly not going to run. I know it feels good to look at a stash that's filled with weapons and armor, but if you see weapons and armor in your inventory and you realize, I'm probably not going to pull that out, if you don't see yourself pulling it out today or tomorrow, go ahead and sell it, free up that space, turn it into rubles, and just get some more breathing room for some more space in your stash. After that, you're going to want to isolate and identify what ammunition you should really be using. So ammunition is just a whole nother video in this game, and I have a whole ammunition guide on what ammo you should be using at every single level on Escape from Tarkov. I'll have that linked in the top right, and I would strongly suggest that if you don't understand the differences in ammunition in this game yet, is there is a vast discrepancy on what ammo you're shooting and how effectively you're going to be putting people down. Is the most important thing you can utilize in your kit is good ammunition. So go check that out, then cross-reference that video. If I don't mention the ammunition that you should be using, that you're still saving your stash, then you likely want to go ahead and sell it. So up next, we're going to want to sell some items, but before we can sell any items, we want to make sure what items we should keep for quests. So if you navigate over to my Twitch and type !quest, you're going to get this handy dandy list that pops up showing all the items you need found in raid for your quests for each trader, and also in chronological order. This will help you out tremendously, knowing what items you need to quest. Now, if you look at items all the way at the bottom, you probably do not need to start collecting those. What I would do is realize, okay, how hard was it for me to find this item? How close am I to this item in the chronological list? If you're a long ways from it, then it's fine. Just sell it. Don't sit on an item that's all the way at the bottom that you need level 60 to even turn it in, right? Just go ahead and start collecting items. I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 items at most ahead of the quest you're on. Once again, you can get this on my Twitch by typing !quest in the chat. So go ahead, cross-reference this list versus items you have in your stash, save the ones that you're going to need relatively soon, and then let's start selling items. Now, before you start selling to anyone, I have a little bit of advice on who you should sell to. So if you don't know, to get your trader rev up, you need to either buy or sell items to traders, or just spend money with them in general. So what I would do first and foremost is try and sell as much as you can to Jaeger and Skier. They don't pay as much as mechanic, let's say, for weapon parts when you sell something to Skier. However, it'll be much more efficient than like buying and selling things back to Skier later on. So try and sell as much as you can to Jaeger and Skier early on. You're gonna want to go for as many weapon attachments to Skier as you can. Jaeger will buy melee weapons. So if you go into raids with no melee weapon, grab a melee weapon off a scav, especially like an antique axe. That can be a really quick 50, 60k that you can just sell to Jaeger. He also buys food at a high value. So if you have extra food, maybe you're going through ground zero, you're hitting the dining hall, and you're getting the high value food, you can sell that to him and also get your rep up, get some early rubles. Next up, Ragman. Just sell whatever loose fabric, whatever loose armor you're not going to be utilizing to him. He's pretty picky. You will mostly level up your Ragman through actually purchasing things through him. Then any valuables or loose meds that you're not going to utilize, you can go ahead and sell to a therapist next. And then make sure you're just insuring your gear with Prapper. You can also repair your gear with Prapper if you need more money spent with him, or with Skier as well if you need more money spent with him, as insurance and repairing will also help you level this spent money. And if you do this efficiently, you're going to have way more money to work with. Lastly, with Peacekeeper, he actually utilizes dollars. So what you can go ahead and do is buy USD from Peacekeeper, and when you transition rubles into USD with Peacekeeper and buy that USD from him, he's actually going to count as money spent right there. Then you can go ahead and spend those dollars on any equipment you might want to use from Peacekeeper, or if there's no equipment you want to use, then you can go ahead and buy items. Let's say you still need to get Skier rev up. You can buy a certain item that Skier will buy. So maybe test out on one item first, then sell to Skier. And the reason why you want to sell to a different vendor is, sure, you could go ahead and sell it back to Peacekeeper, but he's going to pay dollars for it. So if you go with another vendor that you haven't reached the spend level with yet, then you're going to be able to go ahead and turn those rubles back into dollars and then buy something again. So you'll get a lot more bang for your buck in leveling up Peacekeeper. But if you go ahead and sell things and utilize the traders in that fashion, you should reach the spend requirements no problem without having to just waste money buying and selling things endlessly like most players do. The next thing is, I don't want you guys to worry about items that are sold on the flea market. If you need money, just go ahead and sell them. And sure, some items you're going to get a lot more for on the flea market later on. But if your entire inventory is bogged down by items on the flea market, you're out of money, you're out of space, you're just going to give yourself an awful time. Focus on those flea market items after 15. And once we've made this mental shift, don't worry about picking up items that might be worth a lot on the flea market later on. When you're in a raid, just focus on getting equipment you're actually going to use, picking up items you know you can sell to traders for a decent amount, prioritizing your quest items. And then if you want to start working on your hideout, maybe you have like a little list of things you need to collect to start working on your hideout pre-15. You can also collect those, but that's not the end of the world if you don't do that. Once you're level 15, this still applies to you. Just go ahead and sell items to sell for a lot more on the flea market, obviously. If an item sells for around the same market on the flea as it does to a trader, I would suggest just selling it to a trader. Work on your money spent with them, as well as you do have to pay a tax on the flea market. Now, if you want to unlock more slots on the flea market, it might be worthwhile to just go ahead and sell it on the flea market if you already have your trader spend up, so you can get a rep on the flea market and unlock more slots. So we have a lot of open space in our stash. What I would go ahead and utilize is put your backpacks all the way down in the bottom of your stash. Go ahead, grab like some rigs and load up all the quest items you want to keep, put them in the bottom of your stash, know where they're at, and then keep the top of your stash empty. This way, when you get out of raid, you're just going to dump all of your items into the top of that stash. You can quickly sort through it, go ahead and pull down anything you want to keep for later on. That means like equipment, quest items, etc. And then just go ahead and sell after every single raid. That way your stash just doesn't become a giant mess. You want to just consistently keep it clean. Now you're going to be in a position where you're no longer needing to hit that auto sort button, and that's exactly where you're going to want to be. The more organized you are in this game, the more raids you can do, the faster you're going to progress, the more money you're going to make, and the more fun you're actually going to have. Let's say you only have 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours to play after work, after school. If you're spending half that time in the stash because your stash is wildly inefficient and unorganized, you're missing out on a lot of game time. Alright, now that we have our stash organized, let's start talking about cases. So if you don't know, there are cases in the game that can only hold certain items, but they'll drastically help you organize your stash. Let's say they're somewhat like a backpack, except for when you open them up, they'll be much larger. So let's say a case is a 4x4, like the Lucky Scav junk box, which is the first case we're going to be talking about. and the interior of it is actually 4 times the size, but can only hold miscellaneous items like miscellaneous sellables and quest items. So the first case I want you guys to go ahead and get is the Lucky Scav Junk Box. Now Therapist actually sells this for 1.1 million rubles, which is a lot of money early on. I understand, but it's going to help you out so much. You can keep all your quest items in there. You can keep sellables in there, so that way you're in a position where, let's say you do want to flea market some items, but you can go ahead and save up 5 or 6 of those items, instead of a lot of players will just sell each item after a raid one by one in the flea market, undercutting to like rapidly get through the items. They're wasting a lot of time. Just stacking a lot of them up in this box and then selling them at the end of the night will save you a tremendous amount of time and make you more money. I have a whole video on this, which I'll have linked in the top right, on how to make 200-300% more money from the flea market. But this is the first investment you're going to want to make into your Escape from Tarkov career. Now you can get this on a barter trade actually from Therapist level 2, and what you're going to need is 40 level 15 and above dog tags. You can go ahead and get these on factory probably pretty easily, probably in an evening, and improve your PvP skills while doing so. However, this trade does get bought out pretty fast, so just make sure you're there when Therapist resets if you want to get one of these boxes. So while you're collecting all these dog tags, I suggest you just go ahead and utilize a rig until you hit level 15, and then you're going to want to purchase yourself a dog tag case. So a dog tag case is only a 1x1, but it actually has 100 slots on the inside, but it's only usable for dog tags, obviously. This goes for around 300,000 on the flea market, and that's going to be your best bet. Go ahead and purchase one of these as soon as you can. After that, you're going to want to go ahead and get some ammunition cases. I'm going to suggest you do not buy this on the flea market, but instead utilize the barter from mechanic level 1, where you get 2 thermites as well as 2 eagles. You can buy these off the flea market instead, and it'll only cost you around 200,000 rubles versus like 600,000 rubles if you were to just buy the ammunition case straight off the flea market instead. Inside that, you can store all the high tier ammunition once you sorted through it earlier that you do want to utilize in your weapons later to come. Make sure you have gotten rid of that low tier ammunition though. So for your meds, you're going to want to either get a meds case or a slim field med pack. So the meds case you can get with Therapist level 2, there's a barter. At the time of recording this, that barter is going for around 600 to 700,000 rubles. However, now people know about the slim field med pack. So it's actually a rare backpack in the game that can only hold medical items. It's about the exact same size as the medicine case, so just go ahead and get whatever is cheaper. At the time of recording this video, you can get one of these field backpacks for 200,000 rubles. So you're getting a medicine case for about a third of the value of the actual medicine case. So just go ahead, check that barter, check the price of the backpack on the flea market, and get whichever one is cheaper. But this will help you out tremendously with all your medical items. The next item I'm going to recommend is basically a big wallet where it can utilize keys, whichever one you want to use it for. If you have a lot of keys, use it for that. If you want a big wallet, use it for that. And that is the documents case. So Therapist level 2 actually has a barter for this. At the time of recording this, it's only around 200,000 rubles to go ahead and utilize this barter. At the start of the wipe, it can be more expensive though, so just watch out for that. Worst case scenario, you can also buy this on a flea market. Just go ahead and check which one is cheaper. But at the time of recording this, and probably for the foreseeable future, the barter will be quite a bit cheaper than buying it on the flea market, probably around 200,000 rubles. Like I said, use this either as a massive wallet or bring it into raid if you have a lot of keys. Speaking of keys, if you want a really good early level money making method that you can utilize while doing quests on customs, I'll have that linked in the top right now, and you're going to want some keys for that. Now, you might not have to spend that much money on a documents case, and instead you can get yourself a Jinji keychain. These go for around 50,000 rubles on the flea market, and you can put 4 keys in them. So that's usually all the keys you're going to need for your quest in a single raid. Or if you go ahead and use that money making strategy on customs I showed you, I only recommended around 4 keys for that video to help you out. But hopefully your stash is looking great now. If this video helped you, go ahead and share it with some of your new friends. If you want to know the most cost-effective weapons you can get from level 2 traders using the best ammunition you can use at your level, go ahead and check out my best level 2 traders video, which will be on screen right now. This will save you money making some of the most effective weapons for your level, and it'll put people down.